and welcome to Tinted Specs podcast. I'm Georgina, and joining me is David Liddle, County Training Manager at South London Scouts and mortgage broker at Liddle Perrett. Welcome, David.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining me today. It's a Monday morning. It's, I'm sure you've got a busy day. So could you just tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
I am married. I'm a father of two, a 4-year-old and an 8-year-old. On a daily basis, I work in financial services, and outside of my 9 to 5, I spend as much time outdoors, on the water, doing whatever that I possibly can.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I wanted to speak to you, because I know that you are an avid outdoor swimmer as well. And we kind of connected through the Serpentine Lido. But also, I was really intrigued to hear more about the South London Scouts and some of the epic adventures you've been having with them, trying to encourage kids to get back outdoors after this last 18 months where life has been a bit kind of shut down for all of us.
Yeah, it's been odd actually. The last 18 months have shown that there is so much more to do, and so many more people to connect with, other than the traditional meeting kind of once a week. On a positive note, I think the last 18 months have been great in that there's been worldwide connections which would have never happened. We've met people, made new friends, got people interested in different things that would never have happened. But on the flip side to that, there's a massive gap in the socialization of young people. There's a lot of anxiety that's come in that definitely wasn't there before. Separation anxiety, confidence to get out and do different things. And it's great to see all that starting again.
And how are you kind of helping to get these kids at the South London Scouts out and about again?
If you look across the county, there's definitely a number of scout groups who are kind of spearheading this. There's always going to be some people out there who are more comfortable doing outdoor activities, who are keen to kind of push things to happen sooner rather than later. Obviously, COVID is a big restriction at the moment, and while we need to be mindful of what's gone and no doubt what will be to come, I think we should still be pushing to get young people outdoors doing different activities, and really trying to get people back to doing what they were before, whether that is people whose comfort zone is going for a stroll on a Sunday, or people's whose comfort zone is going sailing or climbing or canoeing. And there's groups across the county actually who are really, really pushing in the right way to get all of their young people back out and doing these things. And it's incredibly important.
Yeah, because without that, they're losing kind of the skills for when they start university or college, or when they move further away from home. And I'm sure that one of the things that might be holding back a few of them is that they don't like being outdoors and getting mucky. And I think I definitely felt like that when I was younger. But now, as I said, I've kept my wetsuit up at the background because I love going out, going surfing badly, but I love it. So is it quite difficult to encourage? Because it's not really about being amazing at it, is it? It's just about taking part.
No, well, that obviously depends who you talk to. With the great thing about scouting in the UK, and a lot of the outdoor sports providers across the UK, is that there is people out there to help provide the permits and the technical expertise that we actually need to run activities safely and correctly. So the first point is that there is that help out there. You just need to stick your head out and find out where it is and speak to those people. The great thing about Scouts is that regardless what sport you're looking at, or what outdoor activity, is that there is a board out there who is super keen on doing pretty much anything. You just need to talk to them. They will all help you in some way, shape or form. So in reality, all that needs to happen is arranging the bodies getting from A to B. Now, either young people want to do that or they don't. My experience is that if the parents are behind it, and if the parents are very much get up and go, that makes a colossal difference to the enthusiasm. But I generally find that every activity we run will be pretty much sold out instantaneously, because they're so keen at the moment to get back doing things, which is great, because it's much easier to harness enthusiasm than it is to create that enthusiasm in the first place.
And I think like once a few people are enthusiastic, then other people get more enthusiastic as
It's
well, don't they?
infectious.
It's like, yeah.
Absolutely.
There was something I read about a teacher talking about how kids are like they're attached to each other, and as long as you know which one to kind of activate, then the others kind of follow along, which I thought was really interesting,
Absolutely.
actually.
Absolutely.
Um, and so, just to clarify, how old are Scouts? I've forgotten because it's been such a long time since I was in Brownies and Girl Guides and stuff like that.
Well, the scouting movement, basically, we just started off. We've just launched Squirrels now, so we're getting them in from basically 4.
Oh,
So
wow.
different groups will have will have different age groups, and I think it kind of ebbs and flows on different age groups. But effectively, we've got Squirrels starting off like super young. We've now got Cubs coming in. We've then got Cub Scouts, and really, there's a place in scouting from everywhere, really up to adults. What we'll generally find is that there will be a section which will fit your age group, and you know the more adults we can get in, the better, which is a good thing. So there is something for everybody, which is great.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting and something I'd kind of forgotten about, really. So, how is when you get kids kind of coming out on the trips and they haven't been away from their family or the area they live in? How do you help them to kind of bust out of the bubble, so to speak?
The good old saying from Nike is "just do it" is just so appropriate. I mean, the thing is that there's a lot depending on the activity. So we had a group of 27 off sailing a week or so ago, and they were all so keen to get out. It was great. I mean, it was a really, really successful trip. Some young people are happier doing things than others, and ultimately, you've just got to carry it. I think once a decision is made to run a trip, we always make it work. Now, if that means some people need their hand held slightly more than others, that's great. There's always going to be different needs, whether it's development needs or confidence needs within the group, and we deal with that, as they see fit. That's just all down to running things properly, supporting the young people and the adults, because we'll have volunteers who are dead keen to come along and supervise, but don't necessarily want to take part, which is fine. So it's about using the volunteers in the right way and supporting the young people in a way that means they walk away having had a good experience. I've seen activities in the past whereby young people just kind of cracked on through a weekend of a survival camp and things, and they didn't enjoy it. And now I think it's incredibly important that they walk away having had a good experience. Now, if that means they pull out early, great, not a problem. But it is incredibly important that they walk away from that having felt like they've achieved something. There is no point in dragging people through activities if they're not having fun, because it's also about that as well. It's got to be fun because they want to come back.
Yeah, and also, yeah, you want them to come back, and you want them to want to come back, as opposed to feeling that they have to. So, have you seen a big change from the people that have been doing the kids and the volunteers that have been doing the trips since kind of lockdown was lifted?
Yeah, at the moment, there is a big confidence issue from a leadership and a volunteer point of view. I think that's very much liability driven. Because it's really the whole COVID question it's an impossible one to answer. There is no way whatsoever that you can 100% guarantee that COVID is not going to be an issue. And trying to cover the bases with every single thing, every single minute of the day is frankly impossible. It doesn't work. However, we have very, very stringent risk assessments. We have adults running trips who are very experienced, who are more than able to make a call on either changing things on a dynamic basis as we go on if that's necessary. So we run with it. If we're not happy to run with it from the outset, then it doesn't happen. So the confidence will come back as we start getting more people out running activities again. That's kind of what it is. The young people are all keen to do pretty much anything. They all have their different activities that they would prefer. Some will be climbers, some will be canoers. They all need to have a go at everything because that's what it's about.
Yeah, it's crazy this time we have had, and I think that even though we've technically been released for the whole summer, I think only now am I starting to feel a bit kind of freer. So I don't know how those children are starting to feel. And obviously, just thinking about it for them, it's so difficult because obviously most of them won't be vaccinated, and some of them parents won't want them to be vaccinated, and that's their decision. So obviously that's going to make kind of running trips much more complicated.
It does, but I think as long as the communication channels are open and honest, and I think as long as you honor the wishes and beliefs of the parents and the other volunteers, that's the best that we can do. We all have the information and misinformation, especially online, has been rife, and I think we need to honor what people think and believe, because there isn't, with a lot of this stuff, there just isn't a right or wrong. Some people live with elderly parents. Some people don't have anybody, over the age of 35 in their household. So we've got to be sensitive to the needs and wants. I'm massively keen to get out doing, well, pretty much everything and anything that I can, but that's me.
Yeah, I think that as I was just finished saying what I said, I suddenly thought, actually, that's the community that's been had the most kind of experience of testing the kids at home anyway. So they're used to it anyway, aren't they? It's adults who don't have children in the household that are just starting to go back out to work, where actually, ironically, it's going to be harder for them because they're less used to testing as regularly. And I'm just thinking about my family who have kids. They're just one of my friends goes around with like a lateral flow test in her handbag, just in case. Right, let's get them done. I mean, it's very, very normal for them. So in a way, maybe it's not as difficult as I had thought, actually, because it's more, I mean, I haven't yet been back to my office. So that's going to be quite interesting. Whereas these kids have been going to school, on and off throughout the whole experience, let's say. So what are the kind of things that you are looking forward to seeing the kids doing and yourself doing over the next kind of 6 to 12 months?
Just getting back into the proper outdoors. We have a general kind of saying in scouting that there's no such thing as bad weather, just inappropriate clothing. And frankly, everybody should be getting out and experiencing the weather. They should be getting out in the cold, the wet, the snow. If it's a sunny day, happy days. Nothing should stop. Our doors have been opened, and we can get back out doing things in a safe manner. As long as the right risk assessments are done. Risk assessments are done to keep us safe. They don't exist for the sake of risk assessments. And we should be getting out. We should be feeling the weather. Experience. Yeah. I'm all about the experience. I would rather all of our members got out and did something and walked away saying, I love that, or that's not for me again, rather than sit there and not do anything. There is a lot of groups who are just starting back. I think in the last 18 months, we missed 2 weeks with our group. That was massive. That's really unusual, but that was down to the commitment of the leadership team that we've got within the group. But I mean, groups that haven't had that will still be getting back to face. It will still be a new thing for them.
Yeah.
But we need to get out. We need to be doing things. Scouting as an organization is unique in that we have an ethos that means we're meant to be giving young people a residential experience every term. And that's every section. We're meant to be taking them out, introducing them to new things. We're meant to be taking them out and introducing them to that by having experiences, they learn. So it doesn't. I'm not saying we should upset kids, but it is important that they get out and feel the cold. It's important that they get out and feel the rain. That's how they then learn that what the planning required for doing Duke of Edinburgh is, for example, because they've experienced getting wet. For the water activities, they need to understand why health and safety is there. Why do you wear a wetsuit below a certain temperature? Why do you wear a buoyancy aid? What's the difference between a buoyancy aid and a life jacket? All of these things, kids learn, young people learn.
So interestingly, there's some talk on the news about virtual reality and how I can't remember what company it was. They want to create this virtual reality that people can live in. And it just made me feel a little bit sick, if I'm honest, because I just think that really it's just so important to get outside, and we're not meant to be online all the time. And I know for myself that without getting outside, And I've got a dog now, so I've got more opportunity to force myself to go out in any type of weather. But I just think you just feel so much better, and it really worries me that I just had this thought of the future with all these kids and their virtual reality. I mean, I think internet games can sometimes be quite good because they're working together with their friends, but they shouldn't be on it. There shouldn't be a virtual world that people could just live it. I mean, you should do what you want, obviously, but it just made me feel quite concerned about the future, actually.
Well, games. I mean, internet games are great for what they are, but in my brain, and I'm not, I'm not, and never have been a gamer. Games are a game. They're a distraction. They're not. An alternative reality. I think there's nothing wrong with games, and virtual reality, I guess, is no different from people being linked on Facebook or Zoom or anything else. They're still not kind of there face to face, but they are still communicating. But it shouldn't take the place of being outdoors and having experiences and doing different things.
Yeah, I mean, I think about all the opportunities I had when I was younger. I made heather tea in Scotland or something like that, and we stayed out and made somewhere to sleep, and I'll never forget those kind of moments. I remember cutting my finger as well, but that was fine. But there's things like that that you can't get back. And I was also thinking that a lot of kids say if they want to sail, then maybe that helps them to maybe they need to improve their swimming before they can go sailing. So there's an end goal, and to get the end goal, they have to do something else to get there. Do you find that quite a bit?
Well, I mean, with any activity, if you're going to run it, it needs to be safe and sensible. So if we're going to run any activity, there needs to be certain basics. In reality, with sailing, one of the prerequisites is that they can competently swim. From a leadership point of view, I wouldn't be comfortable taking anybody on a boat who couldn't swim. I mean, that would just be nonsense. But I mean, activities exist that we can take any level out there to do whatever they want to do. They just need to be properly managed.
Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking about it with my family because we've been surfing, and definitely my family's, the younger kids, their swimming has improved dramatically because of the want to go surfing, if you see what I mean. It gave them like a little
absolutely.
Added boost to improve more, because the better they could swim, the further out they were allowed, and things like that. So how do you think, what learnings do you think you have found, and the kids that you kind of work with have found over the last 18 months? Kind of what things have they got from the pandemic, positive and negative?
So from a positive point of view, they've definitely connected in a different way. We've seen different young people who are more comfortable connecting electronically, because some of the more introverted young people who don't necessarily want to get out in big groups have been very happy like that. We've definitely connected across the UK and globally, actually, with lots of different people who we absolutely definitely would never have connected with. We had young people run a session with Jacob Rees-Mogg on Parliament Week last year. We've had access to MPs along the same thing. We ran a joint meeting with a group in Japan, which was hilarious because none of us could speak Japanese and one of them could speak English. There's been lots of connection that would never have happened. However, it's not been great for the cohesiveness and getting people together and doing teamwork activities. They don't work in the same way. Getting somebody to do when you put people in to do an instant room or like an online challenge together, they don't work together in the same way as if you were to do a team exercise in a field, for example. We're used to running scouts as patrols, so we're used to teaching the young people to operate together, to problem solve together, to get things done together, to allocate tasks together. That has definitely not improved. In fact, if anything, it's gone back. It's taken a step back. Our young people have missed a minimum of a year of effectively team building activities, which I don't think is a great thing. Well, it's not a great thing because they've missed a year of, and they've learned other things in different ways. So it's not like all is lost. And kids bounce back, amazingly quick. But that bit they've definitely taken a step back on, definitely. And some will move forward faster, and some will move forward slower because they're young people.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's lost out on team building. I mean, because like you say, online, it's not the same thing at all. And we're, I suppose, used to being much more independent now and working remotely.
Yeah.
And that is something that, I mean, that's a definite reason to get out there and do lots more challenges. So obviously now it's coming into winter. Does that mean that you guys do less challenges? Or I know you said
Nope.
it doesn't matter, you keep going.
No. No, no, no. No. But I think people. Oh, this is me. I actually like the winter. I actually like getting out and doing things. I did more running this year in January, February than I've done in any other month, like, by a long
Yeah.
way. I actually like the outdoor bad weather. I think you have more of an experience. Going out at night, for example, is more of an adventure because it narrows your perception. So it feels emotionally and mentally like you're doing more than you're actually doing. So no, it shouldn't. It shouldn't reduce what we do. I mean, if anything, I think there'll be more groups out doing more now because we're allowed to.
Yeah.
Because we're allowed, they'll be going out.
Yeah, well, that's fantastic, isn't it? So, what tips and advice would you give to any young person or adult wanting to kind of get out there and get involved?
If you Google, it depends where you are. If you're in South London, obviously Google South London Scouts. Have a look at the website. There is contacts there. There's links there that you can find where your nearest group is and reach out and say hello. Alternatively, you can message local groups. There's loads of local groups on Facebook, or the county groups on Facebook, or Instagram. And get in touch and find out what's going on. I think people get out what they put in. The more people get involved, the more they get out of it, and that's as much for young people as it is for adult volunteers. There's lots of people out there wanting to do things, so get involved.
Yeah, and I just suddenly thought, just to check, Scouts is for boys only, or is it now
Oh yeah,
open to
no, boys and girls,
boys and girls? I'm glad I clarified that because when I was
yeah.
younger, I thought it was, but maybe I misunderstood. Yeah, so it's
No,
boys and girls.
it used to be it's boys and girls. And I've got I have a 9-year-old as of today, young lady. And the
Happy
girls are
birthday to her. Yeah,
very enthusiastic.
yeah,
Boys and girls grew up at different ages. For anybody who's got either of them, they'll know that. And the girls tend to be very enthusiastic, and they definitely give the boys a run for the money.
Oh, good. Because I remember, yeah, we were like, we want to have the same rights as the boys when I was at school. So now, yeah, they get to join Scouts as well.
Yeah,
That's
it's not.
great.
It's strange. It's to me, it's completely natural that it is boys and girls, and should always have been anyway. But I mean, the girls give the boys a very good run for their money, different age groups. The boys tend to be kind of bigger and stronger, faster, but the girls seem to be better at things like teamwork and working together. When it comes to it. They all get on with it. It's normal. There is, any of the groups I've seen, they don't really think of boys and girls. They are scouts. They're scouts first
Yeah.
and patrols first. So that doesn't really have anything to do with it, or it shouldn't.
Yeah. No, it shouldn't. And that's great. And I'm sure everyone with children knows that. I just suddenly thought I'd clarify. That was a good clarification question. Thank you so much for joining me today, David. And good luck with the rest of your week. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.